Hello everyone, welcome to Next. Mr. Academia, we thank you for watching all our videos here. I'll remind you to press that red button to subscribe and get notifications for all our new lessons. For today, we are going to discuss this paper here. So I think by the end of this, we shall be able to answer all questions which are related to the questions that are here. So in our first question, we are asked that complete the following sequences and write down the missing terms in these sequences. The first sequence is here. This is 48, 42, 36. They need us to fill what is here and also fill what is here. So if we notice what is happening to this sequence, you realize that if you get 48 minus 42, the difference here is 6. If you get 42 minus 36, the difference here is also 6. So that means that we have to subtract 6 from 36 to end up getting the next number. And if we get 36 minus 6, we get our answer as 30 here. Then also, if you get 30, you subtract 6, you get 24. If you get 24, subtract 6, you get the next number, which I think is 24 minus 6. I think it is 18. 18 is the answer. Then part B, here is another sequence. We have 240, 120, 60, 30. So if you notice the trend here, you realize that 120 is got by getting 240 divided by 2, then 60 is got by getting 120 divided by 2, and then 30 is got by getting 60 divided by 2. So that means that the next number we get 30, we divide it by 2, we get the next number in the sequence, which is 15. And then the next one, we get 15, we divide it by 2 to get the next number, which is 7.5. So meaning that the answers for part 1, the numbers missing in the sequence are 30, and then the next one is 18. And then for the second question, the numbers in the sequence are 15 and 7.5. So those are the numbers which are missing in that sequence there. Now, if you look at the second question here, the angle LMN is marked in the diagram below. LMN, this is the angle here. Measure and write down the size of the angle marked LMN. So meaning that you're supposed to measure this angle here. So use your ruler and your protractor. You are supposed to measure this. But of course now I can't measure this, but you have to measure it for yourself. What kind of an angle is LMN? So you notice that this angle here, LMN, it's greater than 90 degrees, but it is less than 180 degrees. So this angle, it's greater than 90 degrees, but also it is less than 180 degrees. So angles that are in this range between 90 and 180 degrees are what we call obtuse angles. So this angle here, what kind of it? It is an obtuse angle. It's an obtuse angle. The angle LMN is an obtuse angle. So this angle here is obtuse. Meaning that the answer for this is obtuse. So for the first part, you just do that on your own. Number 3, express 0.4 as a fraction in its lowest terms. So if we are to express 0.4 as a fraction in its lowest terms, 0.4 is the same as 4 out of 10, or 4 divided by 10. So meaning we have to reduce this to the lowest term. So if you divide by 2, the numerator and the denominator, we shall end up having the answer as 2 out of 5. So the answer is in fraction form, but in the lowest term of the fraction. Part B, what fraction is 3 centimeters or 5 centimeters? So before you do this, make sure that all the quantities are in the same units, and it is advisable that we use the smaller unit since we have a centimeter and a meter. So it's always advisable that we change to a smaller unit, and the smaller unit in this case is a centimeter. So we change the meters to centimeters. So if we have 5 meters and we need to change them to centimeters, they will be equivalent to 5 multiplied by 100, since each meter, since 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters. So that means that 5 meters will be 5 times 100, which is 500 centimeters. So if we take the fraction of 3 centimeters to 5 centimeters, so now we can just take the fraction, which will be 3 divided by 500. So they are all in centimeters because this is in centimeters and this is centimeters. So the answer will end up being 3 out of 500. So meaning that the answer for part B is 3 out of 500 as our answer. Part C, write down the highest common factor of 50 and 125. So before you attempt this question, you have to first write down all the factors of 50 and all the factors of 125. So the factors of 50, we have 1. These are the numbers which we multiply to get 50. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 5, we have the number 10, we have 25, and then we also have 50 in itself. So make sure you get all the numbers that we multiply to get 50. Like in this case, we multiply 1 times 50, we multiply 2 times 25, we get 50. If we also multiply 5 times 10, we also get 50. So all these numbers here are factors of 50, meaning 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, and 50 are all factors of 50. So if you are to list the factors of 125, we have 1 is a factor of 125. We have 5 is also a factor of 125. The next factor of 125 here, the next factor of 125 there is 5. Okay, after 5, of course, we have, I think it is 25 is also a factor of 125. Then we have 125 is also a factor of 125. So those are the factors of 125 listed. These are the ones. So if we like to look for the highest common factor, that is the factor which is biggest in the factors of 50 and 125. So you realize that we have 25 here, we have 25 here, we have 5, we have 5, we have 1, we have 1. But the highest of all those common factors is 125. So that means that the greatest common factor for these figures, since 125 is the biggest, so the greatest common factor is this one, which is 125. So that means that the answer for this one is 125. Okay. If we move on to our next question here, but also remember to press that red button, subscribe to our channel, and get notifications for all our lessons. If we move on to the next question, the diagram shows points C and D. So you can see point C is here and point D is here. Write the coordinates of C. So the coordinates of point C here, when writing coordinates, remember we first write the X coordinate and then we write the Y coordinate. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So read the x-axis of coordinate C. So C is here, its x-coordinate is here. So its x-coordinate is 1. So meaning that C has coordinates. The C has coordinates which are 1. The x value is 1, then the y value is 4. So the coordinates of C are 1, 4. Then D is the image of C after reflection. Right on the diagram, draw the line of reflection. So remember, during reflection, the distance of the image from the object should be equal to the distance, actually, the distance of the image from the line of reflection should be equal to the distance of the object from the line of reflection. So first of all, if we first connect the 2 points, C and D, the line of reflection should pass through the midpoint of CD, of the line CD, because under reflection, image distance should be equal to object distance. So that's why I'm first connecting C and D. Then the line I draw must pass through the midpoint of CD, which is around here. So if I try to draw that line, you realize that the line of reflection is this line that passes here like this. That is the line of reflection. So the line of reflection is that one there. You can clearly see that the distance from here to here, clearly as you can see, the distance from here, from this point here up to this point is equal to the distance from this point up to this point. Yes, so if we move on to the next question here, the next question, we have a parallelogram here, but this one here, you can try it by your own. Give yourself a challenge and pause a bit and try this one on your own. It's just a question of writing true and false. Question of writing true and false. So you should be knowing the characteristics of the diagonals of a parallelogram. So they are saying tick in the correct box to indicate whether each of the following statements is true. The diagonals are perpendicular. So if you think diagonals are perpendicular, come and tick here. If you think they are perpendicular, if you think it's false, tick here. Then the diagonals bisect each other, tick here or here. If according to what you think, then the diagonals are lines of symmetry, tick here and here. So we move on to question 6. Solve the equation 10x plus 5 equals 6. So we are supposed to find the value of x. So here what we do, the first thing is we collect like terms, meaning that 5 and 6, these don't have x, so we take them on the same side. So it's 10x plus 5 equals 6. So if we take the 5 the other side, remember when a number crosses equal signs, its sign changes. Originally, it is positive, so meaning that if it is going to cross equal signs, or when it crosses equal signs, it becomes a negative. So I end up having 10x equals to 6 minus 5, which is 1. And then to get the value of x, I divide both sides by 10. And finally, x will be equivalent to 1 out of 10. So that means that the value of x is 1 out of 10, the value of x. Or if you want to write it in fraction form, you can get, in decimal point form, you can get 1 out of 10 in decimal point form. And the answer there will be 0.1. Part B, x is an integer such that -2 is less or equal to x, and x is less than 1. List all the values of x. So since x is less or equal to -2 and then less than 1, -2 is less or equal to x, and then x is less than 1. This means that in the set of values of x, we shall have -2 because it is less or equal to x. Then we have -1. Then we have the number 0. Then 1 is not included in that bracket. So if you're to draw this on the number line, you just draw your number line like this. Of course, you have the starting point, which is 0. This side continues and this side continues that side. So maybe if I just put these numbers here, this is -3, this is -2, this is -1, this is 1, 2. So our set of points should start from, because -2 is included in the value of x, so at -2 here, since -2 is included here, you draw a circle which is like this, and then you shade it. Since 1 is not included here, we shall use an open one because 1 is not included. Then after, we draw our line here, which shows the places or where x lies, or the values that satisfy x, or the values of x are those ones there. So 1 is not included. That's why this one here is an open one. Okay, so meaning that the answer for this is -2, -1, and 0, since 1 is not included. Question 7 here wants us to look at this, and then after we answer, look at this graph, and then use the graph to find the cost of hiring a car for 3 days. So this graph is a graph of cost against number of days. So they are giving you how much you pay. It is showing us how much you pay for hiring a car for a given number of days. So if you hire it for one day, of course, we have to follow this line here. This line. So if you're asking for 3 days, 3 days is here. So we just come here and draw a line from 3 to meet to meet the line of best fit there. This line here, I can call it the line of best fit. And then after, when you look at the point where it meets that line, then we take it to the line where to the axis which has the cost. So this axis has the cost. So we take the reading here. The reading that is here is the reading for the cost for 3 days. So since from here to here it's 500, it means that each of these points represents 100. So if this is 0, this is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000. So this is 1100. So the cost of hiring a car for 3 days is 1100 Emalangen only. Duma hired a car and paid 1,900. Find how many days he hired the car. So in that case, we look for the amount, which is 1,900. So 1,900, this is 1,500, this is 2,000. So 1,900 is between 1,500 and 2,000. So if this is 1,500, this is 1,600, 1,700, 1,800, 1,900, 1,900 is here. So we can now look for the number of days if we extend this to meet the other line of best fit. So if I'm trying to extend this, it meets this line here. So we read the number of days here. So if I read this number of days here on this axis of number of days, I find out that it is 7 days. So the number of days here are 7. So it is 7 days. If now we look at this one, the next question, a bus travels a distance of 42 kilometers at an average speed of 105 kilometers. Calculate the time taken by the bus. So here we apply the SDT, or yes, we apply SDT, whereby calculate the time taken. If we have average speed, we use the formula, which is distance traveled, or distance traveled is equivalent to average speed, or you can call it speed, average speed. Actually, this one here should be the total distance, average speed multiplied by the total time taken, total time that is taken. So the distance we are given 42 kilometers, the speed is 105 kilometers per hour. So we just look for the time. So if I summarize it, this will be D equals to S multiplied by T. So if I have D as 42, 42 will be equivalent to the speed S, which is 105 multiplied by the time, which is T. So to get the value of T, I shall just divide by 105 on both sides. 105 on both sides, such that I get T, which is the time, is equivalent to 42 kilometers per hour divided by 42 kilometers divided by 105 kilometers per hour. So if you divide that, 42 divided by 105, press your calculators and see what you get. You get an answer which is 0.4 hours. So we are using hours because the speed here was given in kilometers per hour. So the time taken T is equivalent to 0.4 hours. So if you want your time in minutes, you can just multiply by the number of minutes which are in 1 hour. Of course, we know 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So if you want your answer in minutes, you just say T is 0.4 multiplied by 60, and then you'll be able to get your answer here. Get your answer, which will be in minutes. So the answer that you have will be in minutes. Okay. Number 9, express the following numbers in standard form. So standard form of writing numbers, it is a way in which we write numbers such that we only leave one number before the decimal point and all the other numbers are after the decimal point. So the number that we leave before the decimal point should be a number which is 1 or greater than 1. Actually the number should be between 1 and 9. But 1 is also inclusive. That number If I call it x, it should be between 1 and 9, but also 1 is included and 9 is also included. It should be 1, so the number can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so for this one here, the question, the number, the number here is 274,000. So meaning that we just need to leave one number, which is 2, before the decimal point. So this will be 2 point. Each number, first of all, each number has a decimal point. Each number has a decimal point, which is always on it, and that decimal point is always after the last number here. So here there is always a decimal point. So meaning that decimal point will now move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to the left. So if the decimal point moves to the left, the power that we shall give 10 will be negative. So that means that our answer here will end up becoming 2.74 times 10 to the power of 5. So 5 is positive because the decimal point moved to the left. So the answer here is 2.74 multiplied by 10 to the power of 5. Then the second question here, work out 0.3 times 0.002. Actually, before this, there is also this one here, writing it in standard form. So to write this, what we do is that because now the decimal point is here, it means that it has to move to the right such that we leave a 3, such that it stops here. So it moves 3 steps to the right, such that we end up having 3.9 multiplied by 10 to the power of negative 3. So when the decimal point moves to the right, the power of 10 is negative. When it moves to the left, the power of 10 is positive. So the answer here is 3.9 times 10 to the power negative 3. Then lastly, let us work out this and stop here for today. Work out 0.3 multiplied by 0.02. So we are supposed to multiply this. Remember, you're not supposed to use a calculator here. So what you do, of course, you can first rearrange them, 0.3 and 0.02. Then you go ahead and multiply normally. So if we start multiplying normally, we shall end up having 3 times 6 times 2, that is 6. 0 times 2, that is 0. 3 times 0, that is 0. 0 times 0, that is 0. Then 3 times 0, that is 0. So we write the 0 here below the number we are multiplying with. Then 0 times 0, that is 0. Then finally, we add up what we have. This will be 0. 6, 0, 0, and 0. So the decimal point, to know where to place it, count the number of decimal places or the number of numbers that are below the decimal places. And then you count, or the answer should also have the number of, should also leave those numbers equal to those which are in the question after the decimal point. So if we look here, we have one number, we have 2, and this is the third number after the decimal point. So meaning that the answer should also have 3 numbers after the decimal point. So meaning that I should leave this. This is if I'm leaving, if I'm looking for where to place the decimal point, I'm going to leave this one, 1, 2, 3, and the decimal point goes here. So meaning that the answer is 0.006. So that implies that if I'm to write my answer here, I'll end up writing my answer as 0.006 as my answer. Okay, thank you for watching our lesson. Continue watching all our lessons that we upload. Remember to press that subscription button such that you get notifications every time we upload new lessons or every time we put new lessons for you.